of a cohort and be getting on to do a little bit of DCS here this morning. Plan is to do a solo deep strike against I believe it's a nuclear refinement type facility is the theme of this map. It's an older classic mission that was done by a guy that basically ported over a lot of the old Jane's F-15 maps and allowed it for the F-14. As soon as we get in here and get settled, we're going to flip the stream channel over and get that going. Okay, so basically our mission here, without having to sit down and read through all of this text, is we need to get in here and we need to bomb 4 targets. A couple of assembly buildings for chemical weapons and a weapons research and building set that's out here as well. We do have some support. There's going to be some Hornets that are going to be out here doing some seed work for us. And some other aircraft on fighter sweep. So we're not completely alone. I didn't make this mission at all. I played a little bit of Jane's F-15 when I was growing up. It's coffee time here this morning. But the person who did this apparently brought over just about every mission. Oh, that's right. It's a hot start. Let's go ahead and get repainted here and take a minute to situate our cockpit. Make sure everything is good to go. Okay. Bring the throttles up. Hit that pinky switch to turn the lights on. Make sure I don't overspeed the flaps at all. And we'll just go ahead and climb on out. Looks like we're forming up at 20,000 feet. In the vicinity of waypoint 1, so a little bit easy peasy as I don't have a departure radial that I need to try and hit. Let's go ahead and get Jester warming up the pod.
Wilco. Laser is armed.
Apparently somehow the ground crew knew that I was ready to take off when I did hit the pinky switch, but the lights weren't set automatically here at night. I'm not usually a fan of hot start aircraft in general.
We've got nails, 9 o'clock.
Okay, since we're where we need to be, let's just go and establish ourselves a nice gentle left-hand orbit. And we'll wait for the team.
I got a spike here, 11 o'clock, 11 o'clock.
And our fighter sweep boys are already doing their job. We're getting to look through on some Iranian F-14s. A little rougher to see here, but we are flying with our Pantheon Initiative Finner 1-1 skin for myself. A roundel on the wings there. Not really the best one to see here at night. This other aircraft should be warming up here soon. Certainly don't want to go up there without my seed folk. I kind of wish I knew what they were doing.
We've got nails, 9 o'clock. Nails, 11 o'clock. Looks like nails, 7 o'clock.
They're certainly behaving weird. It's riding the radial around. It is about 10 miles.
Oh, I'm showing nails, 11 o'clock. You got it. Switching to steer point 2.
See what these Hornets do as they get around the front end of the boat again. Speed up this old time compression for a minute. We're in an autopilot hold right now, so I'm not worried about it at all. What are you guys doing? See if I can just help them out some. Flying about 20,000 feet. And about 300 knots indicated airspeed, which for the altitude should be somewhere in there. We have some really low seed. Hopefully their other friends figure that out. This is a weird DCS system because I know, having peeked at the actual mission file itself, so I could add the blast damage script to it, that these guys are definitely set for 20,000 feet. Looks like they're climbing slowly, so maybe they'll get there. We'll give it one more loop, and we'll kill the lights, fence on in, and start heading towards the objective area. Rolling out on course. Lights are out. Try and monitor my speed here a little bit so I can not get out in front of the group. At least try not to. Now, if I was working with a human Rio, I would go ahead and have them go through the motions now and get set up to drop bombs and what bomb I'm going to be setting, verify the laser code that they're on. And I have noticed a consistent problem with Jester, in that if you're not actively dropping bombs, he has a pretty nasty habit of just safing the weapons without telling you so, and then by the time you go to release, 15 or 20 minutes later, when you're actually over the zone, and don't necessarily have time to go through all of the Jester menus to set all of your, ripple pattern, how many bombs are coming off, your fusing, what weapons even selected, that half of that shit Jester will just turn off. Oops. Alright, since we're kind of just on a straight level flight here, I'm going to go ahead and roll a 1 minute ad, try not to interrupt the meat of the mission. So I'm going to go and hit that. And if you're not a subscriber, apologies. Ads kind of make the world go round. If you got ad blocker, I guess good for you. Hopefully it still gets the watch and result for that for us. And if you are a subscriber, thank you. Thank you very much. I do appreciate that very much. And welcome back from the 1 minute ad break. That should give us about an hour before the next ad rolls. I do try and run those 1 minute ads so you don't get the 3 minute ads later. Right now we're on autopilot cruise for steer point 1. And basically the way this will work out is we've got our wall of seed aircraft in front of us that we are slightly faster than. 10 knots. I'm going to go ahead and just ease back on the throttle a little bit here so I definitely don't get out in front of them. And our goal is to attack our facility, which is somewhere out here, as I recall. We do have some aircraft that are up here doing some fighter sweep for us out ahead of the group. The 2 flights of Hornets will engage those SAM sites and deal with that problem. And then we'll hit our mission target. And that, should see a similar setup like this. We'll go into the gesture menu, use the head control because he's not going to target the buildings very well at all. And put some bombs on the target, and go home. We've got plenty of gas. Haven't even gotten through the bags yet. Close though. And there's the shoreline. Also, thanks DCS multi-thread, I probably shouldn't be able to see the lights through actual cloud cover of that ship that's out in the harbor. I'm glad they have it, but like a lot of things Eagles Dynamics does, it is incomplete on launch. Or incomplete on release. Hashtag early access. "68 miles to go to our first turn. Things are looking good. A little bit of cloud cover out here over Iran today. Nice moon too, really don't need to go nog heavy. But I have flown on operations with Pantheon Initiative where it has been dark enough that the only way you can really see anything out there is with the NOGs, NODs, or NVGs. Pick your favorite acronym there, they all mean the same. Right back there, Jester? Yeah, he's mostly alright. Alright, we are feet dry. And in hostile territory. We are fenced in with a fuel state of 15.9. And in a nice safe spot behind our Hornets.
Roger.
Let's go and turn the music on. Hopes that maybe some of that jamming noise might help our friends out there in front. A lot of that stuff is modeled in only a very basic sense in DCS.
Alright, those are some nails. 2 o'clock.
So how much it helps is variable. Looks like we're about 10 minutes behind schedule, but, you know, again, that's AI problems.
We've got nails. 1 o'clock.
Some F4s looking in our direction. If they become a problem, we might have to deal with them ourselves, or hope the fighter sweep takes care of it. Go ahead and pick up the pace here a little bit. Last thing I want is for the Hornets to knock out the air defenses and not be ready to hit my target on time.
All right, those are some nails. 2 o'clock.
Things are getting spicy in that corner.
Looks like nails. 1 o'clock.
So we're going to set Jester to look up at our surface target waypoint. Let's get him going already.
Okay, nails. 2 o'clock. 3 o'clock. Roger that.
And we're just going to verify here. Yep, he has a GPU 10 selected. And back through our kneeboard pages, we are on 1682 as a laser code. He is set for 1682 and in auto. For those playing the home game at home, there's a couple of primary differences between the GBU 24 and the GBU 10. Both of them are 2,000 pound bombs. They're both laser guided. But the GBU 10 is an older kind of bomb and uses a different sort of guidance to get down to the target, which is a lot less expensive to use. It's bang bang guidance, which basically means that the plates are supposed to fully deflect one direction or the other as the bomb guides to the target, rather than proportionally to make gentler corrections. While that does have the side effect of reducing the bomb's available range, it does mean that the weapon is a lot less expensive to make use of. Whereas something like a GBU 24 uses proportional guidance.
Roger. Switching to initial point.
and a little bit more complex of a guidance system, in addition to having a heavy penetrator up front. You know, like there's a couple of extra uses, like you wouldn't want to drop a 24 on just anything. That's for like heavy bunkers and that kind of stuff. Things that you want to punch through the top of something first before it explodes. Which is also why Jester will start lasing a DBU-24 as soon as it comes off the wing. Or fuselage in this case.
Okay, nails, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and oh, nails, 2 o'clock.
Try and give the most use out of the bomb. So GBU-24 does have a little bit longer reach over the GBU-10. A lot of that isn't modeled necessarily with DCS in terms of its raw penetrating power and the kinds of targets you'd want to use that on. But some people are using, you know, Lua file scripting, that kind of thing, to try and help with that. I guess in some small ways it might matter a little bit, but it'd be hard to tell, you know. And unfortunately the GBU-10 doesn't wobble like it's supposed to all the way down to the target. It just kind of glides like a regular bomb. But that's the difference between why Jester will wait until the 10-second mark to turn the laser on for a GBU-10 or 16 or 12 versus immediately starting the laser as soon as the bomb comes off the pylon for the 24. We're actually getting a little bit fast over our friends there. There's a flat face out there, which is associated with an SA2, SA3, and SA5 type system. Can be. The SA5 does have another radar of its own too.
And oh shit, a mud spike, 1 o'clock.
SA2 should have about a minute from lock to launch time.
That's a stinger, 1 o'clock.
Alright, he might be shooting at us. We're not going to take that chance, so let us defend.
Mud, 6 o'clock. Stinger, 5 o'clock, 5 o'clock.
Let's drag that missile up here to meet us. Burn it out of some energy. does appear to be our target AO.
Okay, switching to surface target.
All right, 20 miles. Let's turn in for it. Have to do a little bit of adjuster work here. Set ourselves back up for an AP hold. And we can kind of see our target area there. We've got our buildings there on the left, which should be the first and third building. And somewhere in the middle here, there's an H-shaped structure with our other two targets. We're going to go ahead and do direct head control with Jester.
Switching to area track.
Where we will use our track IR. To tell Jester to steer the camera. It's hard to tell because I got some kind of fuzz in the way, but that right there looks like our victim. Let's go ahead and tell him to designate that.
That's a valid laser range. 2 degrees to the right.
We are coming up fast on our drop.
Roger. Right, 1 degree, 10 seconds.
GPU-10 is still selected. Master arm is on.
Okay, pickle, pickle, pickle.
Pickle bombs away. We're going to set up into a right-hand orbit. So that way the pod is able to clearly look under the aircraft and continue to guide our bomb. Yeah, it looks like it's just about right where I needed it to go. $15 seconds.
10 seconds TTI.
Lasers on.
You may fire at will, Commander.
3, 2, 1.
Good effect on target. Impact.
Impact, impact.
Terminate.
And thanks to the addition of that splash damage effect scripting, that GPU-10 was as lethal as it should have been, because DCS has no clue how to deal with splash damage from bombs like that, or how to model things like mobility kills on vehicles. So let's go ahead and assume direct head control here again while we are able to see the target area. And designate a new spot. Huh. Thanks, Shepard. Shepard's one of our Hornet drivers. Good to see you poking around here this morning while we're streaming. Just going to go and extend here for a minute, and then we'll turn back around and see if we can't find what we're looking for. Jester got moved over to a different area, so let's reset him. Back to surface target. There we go. Alright, so let's go ahead and get back into direct head control.
Okay, area track selected.
And we're going to find our target area, which is this first building here. Going to move the head up and down a little bit, and Jester interaction again to get that locked. Next page, designate.
Got good laser range. Come right, 3
Oh
degrees.
boy, we're almost there.
To drop. 5 seconds.
At least we were almost on the right course heading.
Pickle that sucker.
Pickle. There goes another GBU-10. Hopefully that's going to be enough to hit both buildings with the splash damage effects in there. If it isn't, we got a pair of 16s. We could take care of the last building because we've already cleaned out 2 of our 4 targets. 20 seconds.
Seconds TTI.
Laser is on, blinking on 1682.
Heads up, nails, 6 o'clock. Good effect on target, impact.
There we go.
Terminate, terminate.
There we go. That's what we wanted for a bunch of thin structures like that. Alright, with our mission complete,
Nails, 4 o'clock.
we're going to go ahead and put that pod back in snowplow.
Plowing the snow. Roger.
Set our steer point to steer point 3.
Yep.
That is a specific mission, or it's done for specific missions there, Shepard. In the mission editor, you'll need 2 things. One of them is a very powerful DCS scripting system called MIST, M-I-S-T, which you can download that off GitHub and everything else. Because it uses MIST to set up some of its basic parameters and how it interacts with the DCS environment. And then the other one is the actual splash damage script version 2.0, which is the one that I'm using here. In the mission editor, you'll need a parameter set for like time more than 1 second after the mission starts to start MIST, and then I usually do like 5 seconds for most of the other scripts that I want to run, so that way it loads each one of them separately without causing too many kinds of conflicts if I can help it. Because DCS is a perfect game with no flaws. But other than that, it does seem to improve blast radiuses, damage, and a host of other factors that... it is very similar to ARMA scripting in that way, yeah. The better part with it, at least in terms of DCS, is that if you've got a bunch of scripts on your own machine and you have applied them to a mission, when you save the MIS file, it saves all of the necessary scripting data together in a single file, so that all you have to do is give them the MIS and they have, all of the scripts that you used, not separately where they can use them themselves, but the mission doesn't need the actual script files saved on every client's computer in order to provide them with the experience. Alright, we're down to 7,000 pounds, so I'm not going to floor it all the way back to the boat. But we are still 155 miles out, so we're going to see where we're at when we get that far. And we might need to grab some gas from the recovery tankers that are up. But yeah, it does improve blast effects for most of the bombs that you can drop off any of the aircraft because it affects the weapons themselves rather than individual aircraft. Because there's a lot of weapons that should be effective against targets that just aren't. For example, if a 500-pound bomb lands adjacent to a tank, but not directly on the tank, that tank should be either significantly damaged or, if it's a thin enough vehicle, destroyed. The raw concussive power and fragmentation and everything else should do something to the vehicle to at least mobility kill it and maybe knock off a track or similar if it doesn't outright destroy it. But DCS doesn't do anything with that by itself because it uses some kind of weird, almost armor penetration and hit point calculations to make that magic happen. And other weapons like anti-tank cluster munitions like Rockeye 2s. Rockeye 2s should be able to do a lot of damage to a tank if any of those hockey pucks happen to hit the target. But it just doesn't. And it's kind of sad and disappointing. Rockets should be a whole lot more effective at providing mobility kills than what they are. But in most cases they're not. Direct hits are all DCS cares about. So the splash damage script, very much a good addition, I think. It doesn't really add a whole lot in making things super easy. It just makes things a little closer to what you would expect. Now, a 2,000-pound bomb going off 50 feet away from you is going to leave the kind of impact that should absolutely cause problems for you, as it would if it was a direct hit. But in some cases, DCS is just like, nope, didn't hit the target, don't care.
Nails, 8 o'clock. And nails...
Unless it's trucks or infantry, it seems to model those things a little bit better. But anything with even a little bit of armor, it just... that's just kind of sad. Yeah, like if you look back at a lot of the Vietnam footage, which is a good one to go back to for rockets, one of the tactics that we had for dealing with a SAM site was to salvo off entire, Hydra 70 pods worth of rockets into a SAM site, because the pattern of the rocket should, guarantee a kill of just about everything inside of a given radius for soft skin targets like exposed SAM missiles and radar trucks and radar dishes and the like. DCS, you put down a pattern off of a couple of pods of rockets off a Hornet or an A-10 or, even a bunch of Zunis off of an A4 and F-14, and unless they're direct hits, it means nothing. So this script, for sure, Chief, myself, Caveman, and a lot of the boys have been testing that script out pretty rigorously just to make sure that it's fair and everything else before we try and use it officially in literally everything we do going forward on this point. And it seems to work out really well. I already added it into our Tomcat Thursday training mission that we ran yesterday, which we do on Thursday nights. And I went ahead and I put it in on this one too because I wanted to see what would work, because I've flown this mission before with the same bomb loadout, 2 GBU-10s and 2 GBU-16s, and you have to hit the buildings directly
7 o'clock. And,
in order to get them killed.
8 o'clock.
And it took all 4 bombs. I could drop a 2,000-pound bomb in that tight cluster of buildings and it would only kill the one building that I was aiming at, where realistically, those are thin-walled prefab aluminum siding sort of structures, like a single GBU-10 should probably rip a bunch of those apart. And it does now, but it didn't before. So definitely a good thing to see. 115 miles, we are still slightly above our joker state. And there's a lot of aircraft coming home, and we are last, so let's go ahead and presume for a moment that we're probably going to need to get ourselves a little sip. Eco tanker, I choose you. Which tanker are you again? Arco.
Arco 4-1, Dodge 1-1, request rejoin.
Roger.
Oh, he's flying slow.
Nails 8 o'clock.
It's gonna suck to get that hooked up to.
7 o'clock.
Alright, since we know we're going for gas, I'm going to go and pick up the throttle. Shouldn't need a whole lot of fuel when we get there. Probably come back up to 5,000 or 6,000 pounds once we hook up. And then we'll enter the carrier pattern for Case 3 landing. We got a little bit of bring back coming home. You know, we got the empty fuel tanks, the Phoenix that was balancing our pod, and a pair of 1,000-pound GBU-16s. It's not bad at all. Yeah, I think what I'll do once thanks, Jester. You can calm down, bro. We're okay. I appreciate it. You could have just said it without being so damn urgent. And I think once we're done here, I'll actually stream part of the mission editor so I can show the places where those scripts get turned on. Yeah, and since we're just kind of an idle cruise, I'm going to go and pick up the pace here a little bit and do some time compression. Now we're feet wet. And tanker bro here is up at 22,000 feet, so climb just a little bit.
There is a friendly Bra 225, 64 miles. Angels 23.
Okay. Sorry about that momentary interruption and movement in my head. I had to talk with the tiny human here this morning. "55 miles. Things everybody wishes they could do on a multiplayer server for the long flights in.
Bingo fuel.
I know, Jester. Bingo fuel. We're cool, though. I'm literally going to a gas station. There we go. Yeah, that is kind of the favorite Jesterism. You know, the other one that I got that's exceptionally interesting is I really wish that he would stop paying attention to aircraft in a merge after they've been shot down. Because one of the most disjointed things in the world is to be sitting there flying with Jester in the back seat and you know, fighting a bandit. You get into the merge, you shoot him down. You know, bandit is going down, and then as you fly past him, it's like, come on, man, let's do some of that pilot shit. He's on our 6. It's like, dude, we just killed him. He is no longer a threat. And I know some of that has to do with, you know, the way that Jester is programmed and coded and everything else, is that it's just looking for a hostile aircraft in so big of a radius. And as long as the aircraft is in that radius, whether it's alive, dead, damaged, going down, non-factor, not even an attacker, whatever else, you know, he's going to keep providing those particular voice lines, and there's really not a good way to mitigate that. It's still hilarious to hear. Okay, somewhere out here should be Mr. Tanker.
Target 6 miles.
There he
Watch
is.
it. Friendly.
Yeah, I know. We're weapon safe. Okay.
Target 3 miles.
There we go. Set the wings to 50. Turn the lights on. Little fast.
I lost lock.
Yeah, no kidding, Jester. Should probably go back in there and make sure he's flying at a much more reasonable tanking speed. This speed, he'd be slow enough to refuel A-10s, and there isn't one here on the map.
Ready, pre-contact. Return pre-contact. Ready, pre-contact. Clear contact.
Ooh,
Just a bit to the left.
low basket. Slow down a little bit and we'll reset.
Just a bit to the left. Little left.
Contact.
We're connected.
Oh god, that is awful to try and maintain position with.
Fuel 3,500.
Got the throttle practically just barely above idle. Muscle memory is all off. Little close, little close.
All right, nails, 5 o'clock. Fuel 4,500. Fuel 5,500. Fuel 7,000.
That'll work.
Abort rejoin. Disconnect.
Ah, almost had it.
Okay, let's see what kind of pattern we got.
Alrighty. Yes, sir.
Marshall, 215. Mark him up, straight 37.
Alright, Rough Rider, tell me how to come home.
State 7.2.
I've got nails 4 o'clock and nails
41
5
DME.
o'clock.
Oh boy. Oh boy, indeed.
Marshall on that 305.
Yeah, it's gonna be a minute. That's why we got gas. Although to be fair, 11 minutes past the hour is only 20 minutes away. So it could be worse. Yeah, it's just a few aircraft needing to come home.
Looks like Nails 7 o'clock, and Nails 8 o'clock. Showing Nails 4 o'clock.
41 freaking DME.
Established Angels 26, state 6.7.
Okay, let's go ahead and drop it down to best conserve. We're gonna be here for a minute.
Nails 5 o'clock, and Nails 4 o'clock.
Okay, start the clock. Doing about 2,500 or so pounds per hour per side at 6.5 fuel state at the moment. We're looking at a little over an hour's worth of flying time on our current gas.
Heads up, nails 5 o'clock.
I definitely won't need that much. Another minute or two here and then we'll turn back around.
Oh, I got nails on our nose, 12 o'clock.
Overshoot it a little bit just so we can get onto the right course heading for facing the carrier, which is what we want. Yeah, because I got all this extra space that I have to make use of. And about 5 minutes to go. Now and then I do come up here by myself, usually on a Saturday morning, to just hop in, fly, redo the basics. It's something that I stress with my teaching for other pilots, is these are perishable skills. There's some folks in there that jump in and play DCS, and they can bounce between aircraft, and if they're playing DCS literally all the time, to the exclusion of nothing else, you can get good at a variety of aircraft and stay current in a variety of aircraft and do exceedingly well in a variety of aircraft. But as I've gotten older and I find myself pressed a little bit more for time between the day job and family obligations, all that kind of stuff, it's definitely an important thing to make time to get in and do the basics, and you should do the basics. Taking off from wherever it is, if it's a boat or if it's a runway, landing on the same, getting gas, using the weapons, it's important to stay on top of that, because there's a lot of folks out there, and myself was included, on things like that. I'm actually way closer to the boat than I wanted to be. I'm closer to my DME point. Let's turn rack around real quick. Where I felt at one point in time like, no, I'm a solid enough gamer. I'm not going to lose my skills. Perishable skills is for other people, not myself. And then you go up and you fly and it's crappy, and you were wrong, for want of a better phrase. Those skills degrade, and they degrade pretty quick. Not as sharp as one might expect. Now, if you have been doing this a lot, and you do remember what you're doing and what some of the different flying parameters are and everything else, then yeah, you can get back on the saddle pretty quick. But first time you go up cold is definitely an eye-opening experience for how much you've forgotten, or how much is no longer muscle memory where it was before. Like today, we got up on the tanker. I was just a little bit quick getting to it. Fell back behind the basket a little bit, and then just bada bing, into the hole it goes. And there have been times where I've been not flying for a little while, and then I'll go back in there to do the very same thing, and just everything is wrong. I got oscillations that I've given myself that are not helpful in the least. I'm bobbing up and down around the basket. I can't maintain the turn with the tanker. That's just all things that can fade a little bit with time. All right, here we go. This should be the last turn. Push time in 2 minutes. Lost quite a bit of airspeed there. But we got time to fix it.
215. Commencing stage 5.5.
Just about 41 miles, and right on time.
Checking in 38 miles.
Try and maintain about 4,000 feet per minute descent. As we go down to 5,000 feet. Here's the part that gets me on this particular mission. All these aircraft should have already been on the deck in front of us. All of them. Like they're all at various altitude brackets. Just DCS AI things. Done right, it should look like, well, anybody who's lived near an airport and looked out on the in the direction of the approach, just seeing landing lights stretched out for miles. That's more or less how it should look like coming back into the boat with everybody commencing within a minute of one another. Thank you, no landing light and multi-threading. Real cool.
Platform.
There, 3 green. Flaps coming down. DLC is set. I'm going to retrim everything. Hook is down and locked.
Copy.
It's a little windy. Wish I could see my light. Yeah, without that landing light, I'm just going to go ahead and let the aircraft do what it needs to do. Which is weird. We're going to trust it for now. Alright, so the landing light that I'm talking about, just in case there are folks in here who, for whatever reason, don't know, is a small laser light on the back of the carrier that blinks, flashes, and changes color depending upon how close to proper centerline you are. And that helps you line up because you could see that light 20, 30 miles out through most weather conditions. Because it's like a laser or something along those lines that can cut through a lot of that kind of stuff better than a bright incandescent bulb. But not having that, since DCS multi-threading is being a pain, it can be a pain to try and actually find the boat that I need to find in the dark. Which, yeah.
We have a friendly F-14.
The boat changed direction.
2 miles.
That boat changed direction hard. Yeah, the deck lighting seems to be a little weird too. Now you should be able to see that from quite a bit further out. But the boat happened to hit its corner of the waypoint, and now this whole alignment that I spent myself so much time trying to get lined up for is wrong. Thanks, boat. Real cool. I think that's probably him. Yeah, that looks like a carrier. Feet. Oh, this is going to be interesting. I'm sorry, it's Jester's fault that I'm a little slow. Actually, it's ED's fault that I'm a little slow because it thinks I'm a Hornet. Oh, this is going to be fun. Oh, you should not be crabbing like this coming into a boat. Boat, you should be driving into the wind, thank you. Yeah, no shit, it's a bolter.
Whoopsies, bolter.
Okay, DLC is reset.
We've got nails. 1 o'clock.
Real estate's still good. Round 2. Do this one a little more manually since the boat is right there and we could see it.
Okay, nails. 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock.
At least it's a full moon. If this was pitch freaking black, this would be an interesting experience. I was playing DCS the home game. When you're setting up your carriers, they should always be steering into the wind so that you get 20-25 knots or more across the angle. I know I'm lined up left, thank you. I wouldn't have to be lined up left if you were pointed in the right direction. A little fast. A little fast, but we're going to have to play with it. And we're over the wires. Oh, no, we caught something. What'd we catch?
3-wire.
Oh, alright. Thanks, Chester. We'll take it. It's the dirtiest 3-wire I've had in a minute, but we'll take it. One shouldn't be trying to land on a carrier deck, 15-20 degrees nose off. That's just bad. Sure I hit my pinky switch there. Yep, lights are out. Good. And it's up to the deck crew now.
Chocks.
Alright, so let's go have a look at the triggers there.
Wheel chocks are now in place.
Alright, so the triggers is this little gate icon here. And there's a lot of them that are in play, but the ones that are most important for the particular splash damage script is this one here that I named missed. Time more than 1 second into the mission start. Do the script file, mymist.lua. This one here, time more than 5 seconds after the mission start. Do the script file, splash 2.0.lua. And that's it. That's all you need to do, and it will turn those two files on. Providing you have the files downloaded and can actually reference them, because the mission builder needs to have the script files, even if this saves the whole thing, and lets you pass it to other folks. All right, so this KEC 135, let's just go ahead and bring him up to Mach 0.65 at 22,000 feet. Another mission editor kind of lesson of the day. All these units have all of their speed indicators in ground speed and not indicated airspeed for a given altitude. So for example, where's the Hornets at? It's one of these waypoints. There we go. These Hornets are set to fly at 395 knots at 22,000 feet. They're not going to be flying at 395 indicated at 22,000 feet. They'll probably be flying a lot closer to 330-ish, 340-ish at that altitude. but they can absolutely hit the Mach number that I told them to for that altitude. So when I'm setting waypoints for other aircraft, I tend to do it by Mach number rather than by actual airspeed and knots, because all of these waypoints are listed in ground speed, which is way less than helpful for trying to play who should be flying at what airspeed. You know, first time mission editor coming in here just doing your thing. Oh yeah, you know, when we fly together, we usually put 350 in the box and just cruise. Well, 350 knots is probably a bit closer at this altitude for 480 knots ground speed, give or take. Rough figure, like super rough math there. I know there's an actual calculation to try and figure it out in terms of for every 1,000 feet you could take away this many knots from ground speed. But yeah, so if you want them to fly 350 knots indicated airspeed at 22,000 feet, their actual speed that you assign to them needs to be much faster, which is why that tanker, for example, before I changed the tanker's waypoint, the tanker was set to fly at 300 knots, which is a very comfortable speed to refuel at in the Tomcat. You know, throttles are up a little bit. You can very easily stay in the basket, and the hand feels comfy cozy. It's not, you know, super pulled tight back, depending upon your HOTAS setup at home or whatever it is you're using. But working that out at 22,000 feet at 300 knots, he's really flying somewhere around 210, I think is what his call was. We can actually see that in TAC view, so let me go ahead and pull open the TAC view folder. And get that going. And come on over here to OBS. And switch this over to TAC view. So this is the mission that we just flew in TAC view, which is a free with an asterisk on it program that you can download. Just do a Google search for TACView, TACVIEW, and you can follow the links on that guy's page to grab TACView. I would recommend getting one of the more advanced ones for a moderate fee, and I would support his work because he does update it pretty frequently. And there's a lot of helpful features there. It's useful for DCS. I know it can interface with IL-2 and a handful of other games, but the long and short of it, without providing too big of a advertisement there, is that it takes telemetry data gathered from the game, puts it in an environment where you can see it and see what's going on, and you can really get into the nitty-gritty and start to assess what happened. You know, because there's a lot of folks that I've run into in my long time playing DCS or Flanker 2 or Lomac, you know, all of the other iterations that DCS has been in the last 20 plus years, that have said things along the lines of, oh, well, I just spontaneously blew up. And, you know, with TACView, you can go back in and look and go, no, you just overflew an IR SAM site and they shot you in the ass where you couldn't see it. Or a radar turned on and lit you up like a Christmas tree in a spot where your RWR does not actually provide coverage. Or, you know, surprise, there's a MiG-29 hiding out back there, waited for the right moment, hit you with an R-73. You know, it can show you those things. It can also show you when you do just spontaneously blow up, because DCS is a perfect game that has no faults or failures into it. Finger guns. So, let's go ahead and follow our mission here for a minute. A few things that I can talk about real quick. This teal line with a cross on the end of it represents what the game thinks the center of my head tracking view is. So you'll see that line wiggle around a lot. And that's kind of following where my head was in the game. You don't get to see that for other aircraft that aren't you. Obviously, it gets more telemetry data from the host person on the aircraft than it does for everybody else. But, it does grab a lot of information from other folks, whether they are AI or player aircraft. And we're doing our loops. We're waiting on the aircraft to come up. At this point, earlier in the stream, I was saying, oh, damn, what the hell are these F-18s doing? They're supposed to fly out to where I'm at. And here they are, like, actually using the radial. Was this an AI change that maybe, just maybe, Eagle Dynamics is finally making AI aircraft follow carrier patterns like they're supposed to instead of just catapulting off the deck? But here they go, and they're flying. And I haven't changed their waypoints at all, but we could take a look at them real quick. Here they are. They're at their altitude that they've been told to go. Their ground speed is 420-ish knots. Doesn't show me their indicated airspeed, but we can tell earlier in the stream when we were doing this, and I was doing about 300 knots indicated, about 385 for my ground speed. I'm trying to keep pace with these folks at about this distance. And if I flip it on back to DCS real quick, and look at their waypoint, they are told to fly at 395 knots at 22,000 feet. So they are, oh, no, here we go. That's the fighter sweep. That's C2. Okay, so C2 is the one that we're looking at because they're up at 23,000 feet. And they're flying about Mach 0.65. I set it to 0.65. The game made a minor tweak to it. And they're set to do 393 knots ground speed. Come back to TAC view. And his true airspeed is 422 knots. His ground speed is about 422 knots. So it's weird, it's not quite as exact as it should have been, but he is flying probably about 300-ish knots indicated, which is what we want. Well, they get in. At this point, I hit the first waypoint, I switched to my initial point, and I picked up my throttles, which is why I'm shooting past these folks. I was doing just about 300 knots, 350 knots indicated at this point, give or take, maybe a little closer to 400. But my ground speed is absurd. It's almost 600 knots. Like I'm at Mach 0.96 is the last number there. These guys are flying at Mach 0.69. Pushing in for their target. All right, so I flew defensive thinking that Sam might have fired at me, but I was just in the cone for his track radar. In fact, he was shooting at the Hornets that were harming them. Finishing the site off with Mavericks. One thing TACView does not record is static objects. So this was the building that I was actually going to go bomb. And the set of buildings that are there, but static objects are not recorded by TACView. That's actually good to know for the intelligence gathering phase of our upcoming South Atlantic campaign, because it does mean that statics aren't going to show up there for any of the intelligence gathering operation. Which is good. That means players have to actually take their pictures and do the things that they need to do. All right, so I bombed that guy. We're zipping back towards the boat. Oh, hey, I need some gas. Definitely get some fuel. But we get in behind this guy, and he was supposed to be going 300 knots. Overshot him a little bit. There I am hooked up to the tanker. His actual indicated airspeed is 215 knots. So yeah, he was flying like 210. That was the proper record or call out for him. I remember that correctly. So in the mission editor, he's set for 300 knots. But in reality, because that uses ground speed and not indicated airspeed for the altitude, at this altitude, he's really only doing like 210. Tomcats don't like flying at 210 knots unless they're coming back home to land. I mean, they can do it, but if you move around too much and really don't coordinate your turns when you're trying to make those movements, you can get into trouble pretty quick. I'm not doing too bad there. I'm only rocking 6.7 units of AOA. And then we come back to the boat. Do a couple of circles. At this point, I'm trying to commence, and the boat is still lined up where it's supposed to be. And then at some point here, oh, just kidding. All right, fine. Do it this way. Bolter. Come back around, and we're down. End of mission. Yeah, no, TACView does record a lot of useful pieces of information. Let's see, let's find somebody a little more interesting to look at. So these guys are coming in, and this is an AI aircraft, which will show you similar information to what another client would see, like connected to a multiplayer server. So this is, all the information that you would get from somebody else's aircraft that is not your own for TACView. Obviously, it won't show indicated airspeed. It's not showing fuel or fuel flow. Not every aircraft is programmed to give that information to TACView. So sometimes you'll get it, sometimes you won't. But it does show altitude above ground level, ground speed in knots, vertical speed, roll pitch, and roll and pitch angles, different turn rates, G load, that's a very important one, angle of attack, altitude above sea level. I forget what CAS stands for, but it's an airspeed. I think it's some kind of calculated airspeed, maybe. I don't know. I have to go back and dig for that one to get you the actual thing that takes care of. True airspeed, heading and tracking, that kind of deal. The different colored lines shows G load, like when this guy was kind of in level flight doing 1G. It's, fairly tall line, kind of a neutral color. As he unloads the aircraft to half a G, that line gets shorter. He's just kind of doing a basic engagement. Oh, there he goes. He actually put some jandle on there. Now he's doing a 6G turn. This line gets a lot more red. As that gets closer to 9 and 10 plus Gs, that line will turn black. But you can use that to sit down and look at it and go, okay, well, why did I get myself killed here in the Tomcat? I was just flying straight and level towards the target at, Mach 1.1, and I just pulled a little bit back on the stick, and all of a sudden I was dead. I must have been killed by something weird. No, you whipped your rings off. Whipped your rings off. Wow, all right. Ripped your wings off because you overloaded the wing at that speed. TACView will show that to you in the moments before things fall apart. No, he just pumped out a whole lot of confetti, didn't he? Yeah, you could take a look at the numbers as they happen in real time ish, freeze the frame, look at it. Hey, what's the situation? Really powerful program. And the most basic form of it is free, but you do get some extra features, including things like doing an online debriefing, recording, more detailed analysis, that kind of thing. If you splurge a little bit and get one of the more advanced ones, you can also see a much larger strategic view, because you do have like a trial phase where you actually get like the full program for a period of time. Because in standard TAC view, you can only pull out about this far, which does give you a lot of reach to see what's going on. But if you're using the more advanced ones, you can pull back super far and get like the whole battle space at once in just one screenshot image like this. You can also change to show real sizes, because it does upscale certain things so that you can see them easily. You can look inside the cockpit view, free camera, satellite, turn on and off all those different displays. Good stuff. But I'm going to take a brief break here for a minute and grab myself another cup of coffee. And we'll probably get up to something else here in a minute. So I'm going to take a short AFK and run an ad while I'm out. And we'll catch up with everybody here in just a minute. Okay. Let's get situated and settled here, aviators, and we're going to go up again. Where is my... Put it under training? I did. Gonna do another strike mission, this time with some snake eyes and with a little bit of an air-to-air component. Should be some good stuff. For Shepard, and for anyone else who happens to be watching, whether you're from PI or just passing view and visiting. This is kind of how I spend a lot of my Saturday mornings, is just going up and running through all the basics again. And I've got a few missions that I do things like that for. Every now and then I'll hop up on one of the gray flag servers or even on our own. But sometimes it's just nice to get up and do the things. Alright, so the thing that I wanted to check, yep, I don't have it in here yet. Let's go ahead and get that going. Condition is time more. Script file. File missed. Time more, 5 seconds. Script file, splash 2. Save. Mostly because I just want to fly with the that script on just about every mission I make. It's going to take me a hot minute to get through a lot of the ones that we usually use to make sure it's there, but worth it. Coffee makes the world go round. I'm actually having my coffee this morning in a coffee mug that iHort gave me for the NTTR Fire Department, which is the Nevada testing training range. All right, let's get started. This one is a cold start, but since I do have Shepard and probably a couple other folks watching, I am making use of your guys' skins and named a lot of the AI appropriately there. See if it actually shows me their name. Yep, we got Kits, Shepard, Sarian, Facial Fuzz, me, AWACS, Caveman, Creech, and Langley. In a different skin. Thanks, Caveman. At least this one's a cold start.
Roger that.
There goes the AWACS.
I'm closing the canopy.
Okay, good. I did set myself up right. Yeah, I do think of my folks a lot. And when I put AI down here, I try and make sure that you guys are all present. I even do the same for the rotors and for Dingo and everybody else. Reset my head tracking. Turn the mirrors on.
Chief, disconnect ground air supply. Chief, turn off the ground power. Ground air supply is now disconnected. Chief, remove the wheel chocks.
Chief, do everything.
Copy.
Monkey.
Now off. Wheel chocks are now removed.
You know, Jester, you might be a little faster at that one if you actually turned on all the cabin lights and things in the back. Just saying. Just throwing that out there. We're ready to taxi.
Ready to taxi.
Dun, 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 dun. Well, you know, don't leave your jammer on and you won't need a home on jam. Alright, we're revved up. Everything's looking good. Pinky switch the lights, because we don't salute at night. And away we go.
Copy that.
I meant to set the damn thing up on the radio earlier, but didn't do that, so we'll just do that now. Coming up on 7 miles. Now let's try and turn and intercept that there radio. A little extreme. Get that needle there off the left wing and try and keep it there. Here's the boat. So that should keep us just about on the 10-mile circle till we get to 300, which I just arbitrarily decided was going to be my departure radio. Hell yeah, kill them Sams. Good job, 3 Flight. Here it comes. And we are free and clear to navigate.
Roger. Switching to steer point 1.
No, by some miracle, all 4 aircraft are still alive. Actually want steer point 2, I believe.
Okay. Switching to steer point 2.
Yeah, that's better. Alright, so while we're out here, we've got Caveman and Creech doing some escort duty here for the E2. We've got Langley out here doing Southern Cap. He's going to be climbing up to 47,000 feet, you know, like you do. And the Hornet Gang warship is out here taking care of the SAM threats for me before I go in to bomb the strike target.
Sure.
No, it's a little hard to tell, but we have 8 Snake Eyes on board on the front 2 pylons, and 3 Sparrows, 2 Sidewinders. Gonna be a low-level fast strike over the top of this target. Green Mountain coffee, folks. Tasty. I believe it's steer point 2, then my initial, then my surface target, then waypoint 3 to go home. Another mission editor note there for folks. For the Tomcat, the onboard computer is capable of storing 3 steer points, a fixed point, initial point, surface contact, or surface target point, home base point, a defense point, and a hostile area point. But you can't just set those by just placing mark points on the map for waypoints, because what that will do is it will give you waypoint 1, waypoint 2, waypoint 3, and then start filling out these lower reference card points for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The Rio has to manually input each of those reference points into the system if there are more than 3. So as a mission editor, you could do 3 steer points for the Tomcat just like you normally would, you know, clicking them out and putting them in play. But in order to put these other points in, there's a separate button to put the navigational points in, and as you mark them on the map, you name them FP, IP, ST, HB, etc. And it will set them up this way, and Jester will encode them automatically on aircraft start. And, you know, just like before with the last one we did, when we're done here, I can go back into the mission and show you where exactly and how that's done. But that way it gives you additional waypoint information that you don't have to have the pilot manually encode. And, you know, since this is single player at the moment, and we're 119 miles out, let's just go ahead and fast forward.
Whoa, we got dirt at 3 o'clock.
Ooh, that is it's not where I want to be, actually. That's the opposite end of the run.
Roger that. Switching to steer point 1.
Or is it? Yeah, there we go. Steer point 1's the one I want. Glad I didn't go the whole distance there on that.
Yes, sir. Roger that. Switching to initial point.
Gotta get down into this valley.
Okay, we got dirt at 2 o'clock.
Should be a large lake out here. It's one of my navigational points, which is literally right in front of me. Miles to IP. Should be close enough now that I could start doing this. All right.
Copy.
Snake eyes.
Okay.
Set nose tail fusing.
Sure.
I want all 8.
Copy.
Alright, wings are set at 50. Speed's quick. We have gotten low. My lights are off.
Copy that. Switching to surface target.
25 miles to the surface target. Our surface target will have a small campfire going on nearby, and oh no! We got MiG-23s coming up. The F-14's natural prey, the flogger. Miles. And I think I see our campfire there. Maybe. Yeah, there it is. Just to the left of the flight path marker. Our target is an outpost, and it's supporting vehicles.
Looks like nails, 3 o'clock.
And here we go.
That's nails, 2 o'clock.
That looks like good BDA. Alright, let's go deal with these other fighters. You know, before they kill the other flight.
Spike, 12 o'clock, dead ahead. Rudder. Locking, target, 21 miles. He's locking us, 12 o'clock. I lost lock.
Yeah, no, Jester. Don't worry about it, man. Just make him waste missiles.
Okay. Tanks are pickled. Okay, he's locking us, 7 o'clock. Now he's locking us, 12 o'clock. Target, 3 miles.
My turn.
Fight's on. Speed's looking good, 370.
Splash.
We're at 340. Spike, 12 o'clock.
Box 1.
Speed 380. 410 knots.
No, he's trying. He's probably going to throw that first missile off, but it's going to let me close.
Target, 8 miles.
Play it again, Sam. Fox 1.
Spike on our nose, 12 o'clock. There is a bandit, MiG-23, 12 o'clock, 5 miles.
Stay with him. Stay with him. And he's down, Splash Bandit.
Damn it, I lost the lock.
He's very dead. And the property values in that place is gone down quite a bit.
Roger.
Buyer's market. One home gently used by MiG-23.
Friendly 3-ship, Bra, 260, 60
Uh-oh.
miles, Angels
Friendly
18,
3-ship?
and a friendly 2-ship, Bra, 250, 75 miles, Angels 25.
Friendly 3-ship? Oh no, I guess there was 4 aircraft there. Though by the looks of it, Fuzz is going to King Hussein Air College. I kind of like that loadout for a quick little strike like that. Eight Mark 82 Snake Eyes and 3 Sparrows for defense. I think, does it have the glove stations on it? Yeah, it does. Alright, so you might be able to actually put Phoenixes on the wings and a Sparrow in reserve if you wanted to go that route with it. Or maybe a pair of Phoenix on the back pylons and Sparrows on the gloves. Might be a few different loadout options for that. Pull the throttles back down to cruise speed. And we'll start making for home. And this time, the carrier should not arbitrarily just decide to, turn when I'm in the final 2 miles of an approach. Thanks, carrier. Just out of morbid curiosity. What all did we actually manage to get? Oh yeah, look at that pattern. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Imagine 8 is somewhere in there. But that looks like we got everything but a fuel truck. And all the scuds. Okay. Well, before we go home,
Roger that.
yeah, you chuckle, Jester, because you know it's a freaking S3. Ass.
Okay.
Hook up to an S3B tanker at night. Get ourselves some gas. And that's because sometimes Jester, like most pilots, is 12.
Texaco 1-1. Infield 1-1. Request rejoin. Infield 1-1. Texaco 1-1.
Oh, that's right, he's flying even slower. So I meant to change that and I didn't. This is apparently slow tanker Saturday morning. Alright, and also for others doing the home game, I've put my wings back into bomb mode for coming up to the tanker. One of the reasons for it that makes it easier to tank with is your wings automatically reconfigure themselves based on airspeed. So if you push it forward a little bit and get a little bit of extra throttle, the wings might sweep back a little bit and change the center of lift of the aircraft. You slow down a little bit, the wings will pop back out and slide the center of lift for the aircraft forward a little bit. What that does is you end up fighting the aircraft incredibly hard, trying to maintain a configuration where you're flying at a given airspeed, at a given altitude, and when you're back there trying to connect to a small target-sized, bullseye, that little bit of movement of the wings forward and back can really cause you to put oscillations on the aircraft that you don't want. So if you fix the wings into a position, it makes that a lot easier to deal with, because you're not changing the center of lift, so you can actually trim the aircraft for whatever airspeed you need to do to connect to the tanker. We laugh about the S3 because it is not the most forgiving aircraft to tank from. It has a fairly short, rigid hose. The aircraft itself looks kind of low polygon count. You can kind of fix some of that with some of the higher resolution skins that people have released, like the reflected skin for the Fear the Bones campaign is pretty nice. Beautiful campaign if you haven't played it. Reforger's a good one too. Sandworm, the nice thing that I could say about Sandworm is at least you get a lot of skins. So that might be worth the price of admission. But otherwise the I don't want to say AI generated because that's not exactly the right word, but the synthesized voice lines are a little jarring. It's been a minute since I've played that campaign, so I don't know if some of the glitches and other issues with it have been resolved, but sure I'll get told if that's the case. Another beautiful F-14 campaign is Speed and Angels. Really kind of sharpens your flying up, mostly because that's the only way you can advance in the campaign. And Reforger 2 just came out. Haven't had a chance to try that one yet, but I've heard good things. Okay, somewhere out here should be
You've spiked a buddy.
my tankers.
Watch it, buddy. That's a buddy. You've spiked a friendly. We locked a friendly. Target, 5 miles. We locked a friendly. Watch it, friendly. Watch it, buddy.
No, I just want to make sure I get to the right one in the formation, Jester. Which, by the looks of it,
We locked a friendly. That's a buddy. We locked a friendly. Target, 3 miles.
it's probably this guy.
Watch it, buddy. There are friendlies. Viking, 12 o'clock, 1 mile.
You want to turn those fancy lights on there, bud? Oh, he does have them on.
I lost lock.
Ready for contact. Clear contact.
Little right.
Contact.
We're connected.
Too
Force,
close.
Luke.
Gonna
Just a
reset
bit to
from
the
that.
right. Just a bit to the right.
Nope. Back we go.
Little right.
I do like that refueling lamp is pointed in kind of the wrong direction. Missed it.
Little right.
Come on.
Almost.
Hey, Chief.
Just a bit to the left.
All right. It's such a good, nice first connection. Just been botching it ever since.
Contact. Return free contact.
Whoopsies.
Nope. Just missed it.
Little right.
Oh, good. Now he's turning.
Little right.
Contact. Return
Oop.
free contact.
Nice, we're in. Almost. Just a bit to the right.
That wasn't good, losing sight of him like that.
Just a bit to the left.
I'll tell you what, if that was an M2K, I'd been fine.
Little right.
Yeah, this airspeed is fun to try and tank at.
Contact. You're taking fuel.
Fantastic.
Good, you're in. Fuel 8,500.
Okay. And thankfully, that is probably plenty.
Abort rejoin. Disconnect.
You can do it, man.
Shut up, Chester.
Roger. Okay. Yes, sir.
Marshall, 215. Mark your mops, 049, 28. Angels, 17. Stay 8.7.
Whew.
We have a friendly
No cool.
flagship
First in
Brahms
pattern.
225, 20 miles. Angels 17.
215. Marshall on 185. 21 EME, Angels 6. Expected approach time is 49.
4-9er. That is about 6 minutes. We're on the wrong side of the boat. Yeah, I am looking forward to the F-15E. That's going to be a lot of fun.
There are friendlies, Hornet, 7 o'clock high, 3 miles.
I'm glad you ate your carrots there, Jester. If they want us to be on time and 20 miles or 21 miles past the back of the boat, we got to hurry up a little bit. Not quite how I would have phrased that one, Chief, but it would be nice if they made some boom tanker refueling changes. Maybe make it a little more forgiving on the connection. Eagle Dynamics.
home of excessive delays, home of early disasters. Eagle Dynamics, home of egos, diminutive. I can only imagine the kind of videos they're going to be putting out here in not terribly long period of time once the F-15 gets closer to it. I'm sure there's going to be some brand new F-16 feature that, you know, WAGS is going to come out and make a video for that is completely otherwise pointless, like, you know, a 5-minute video highlighting the fact that the overrun hook for emergency landings on an airbase is animated. Alright, that's really just about our push time, so let's snap on back.
215. Established Angels 6, state 7.5.
Pretty sure I forgot to establish.
215. Commencing, state 7.5. Altimeter 29.9 degree.
Yep, they're going to make a whole big deal about that kind of feature on the F-16, but here I am in multi-thread, still no laser light from behind the boat. Well, I mean, they've been saving it, Chief. They've been saving it for the release date of other people's modules.
215. Platform.
We're working bow catapults for a couple of years for launching 2 cats at a time. Are well below glide slope.
215. Platform.
And well below platform, but that's okay. Okay, flaps coming down. That's less than helpful. Oop. Okay, DLC is set. My trim was way off, so we're going to fix that. Airspeed's a little fast. Pitch freaking black, can't see where the boat might be. I trust that there's a carrier out here somewhere. Morning Frost, welcome to the stream. Afternoon, really. So yeah, you know, I should have a blinky little light to tell me, give me hope where the boat is. But alas, no. So yeah, we are coming in with the ACLS on. The boat knows where it is because it knows where I'm not. Nice and steady. Which I know I'm mostly just monitoring the jet at this point, but is what it is. Good luck with applying for an ATC job. Ooh. That is, the wrong key that I wanted to hit there. I wanted to pull up the radio menu and not turn everything off. It might be unrecoverably. We'll see. Yeah, I know. Thanks, Justin. Or thanks, LSO. This is going to be unclean as hell. Yeah. Yep, that was faulty. I mean, we're down, but it was ugly.
The one wire.
Now, kids. Be nice in the stream chat. I don't need to have the Twitch people coming after me for y'all being bad at, 12:30 in the afternoon on a Saturday. Okay, wings are in auto or oversweep.
Chief, place the wheel chocks.
Shocks are placed. Brake is set.
Copy. Wheel chocks are now in place.
And this jet can now become the crew chief's problem. Alright, so as promised, let's go ahead and hop on out for a second. First things first, where's those tankers? Yeah, I'm not satisfied with that speed, so we're going to go ahead and bump that up. Just so I don't have to do that nonsense at that airspeed a second time. Make sure that's all saved, and let's go to the tech view. I do try and make it a point to review all of the flights that I do as soon as I do them. At least when I can. Sometimes it's got to wait a day or two. All right, OBS. Switch on over to tech view. So we take off. Came in for our bombing run. Oh wow, that's par for the course. It's a harm shot by Shepard way out in the middle of nowhere at no target. Sorry, AI Shepard. Sometimes it happens even when the AI is handling things. I mean, it's a hell of a lot nicer than the alternatives there. We came in to drop our bombs. We did not get shot at by the ZU-23s. You can even watch this in Chariots of Fire time. Okay, so we overshot the compound, but damaged the vehicles sufficiently that most of them burned up. Oh, right, I wanted to watch the dogfight. Here we are, we got our MiG-23s. Yep, no, I did absolutely include the splash damage script on even this little training mission. So he shoots his first weapon at me. We just get away from it because the R-24 is a very stumpy, kind of poopy missile. Kicked off the bags, turned in, immediately got fired at by the other guy. Same thing. Don't like your missile. Oh, he fired again. Let's just make that missile fly all kinds of weird patterns and trash itself, and it's my turn. Bonk. Splash one bandit. Directed my attention to the other guy, who is now turning to look at me. He fires his weapon, I fire mine. And any moment now he should reconsider life. Yep, he lets his weapon go. Turn back into him to continue trying to... I don't know, that missile made a turn. It's rude. That's concerning. Ah, that passed within 1,200 feet. That's fine. So my first Sparrow that I shot at him went stupid. But at this point I was closing in, and somewhere around 7 miles I let the second one go. Which is the last Sparrow on my wing. It's tracking well, following the bandit, watching for signs of flares or him shooting an R60 at me, but alas, he doesn't. Then we go home. Well, no, we go and we get gas. Then we go home. Yep, so what I should have seen back behind here was that laser light changing colors telling me where I am on my lineup, which would have been my clue that, you know, I'm in the right position behind the boat. The information the needles is telling me is fine. I can make all the small corrections I need to, put the flight path marker basically on top of the laser light. So I'm moving in the right direction. But didn't even see that. And then right about here is when I was trying to set up the radio, push my buttons to do the right things on the HOTAS, and instead fat fingered it and just turned the autopilot system off. So I had to try and correct everything last minute and get down to land, which I came in definitely out of parameters because I caught an ugly one wire. But we did catch a wire, at the very least. Got down safe. Not clean, but safe. Things I tend to look at when I'm watching things on TACView is not just the, you know, did I blow something up, but what kind of parameters was I in? What didn't I see or know about on the way into the target? So like in this case, I'm just dropping my stick of snake eyes, and my intention was to kill everything. And my pattern was a little bit long, so I didn't release quite on time where I should have. But it was at least close enough that the splash damage was sufficient to kill a bunch of trucks. So largely my mission objective was done, and all the scuds are dead, which is the main thrust of behind this particular strike. If I was doing this as a multiplayer mission, you know, we probably would have had Caveman, Creech, and Langley all kind of flying in a pseudo sort of wedge, and we would just all scream over the top of this whole area, and just everybody drops all 8 bombs at once. And just turn this whole area into a inferno for a minute. They did, actually, because if we're watching here for a minute, this is the only truck that survives. As those 3 burn out. So I did kill almost everything except for the outpost itself and this one truck. I wasn't so worried about the ZU-23 emplacements, which in the dark, they're not going to see me coming in unless I've got the afterburner lit, which is the only reason why I wasn't flying down here with the burners on. Don't want to give them any hope to see me until it's too late. But yeah, no, at this point it's just about 12:40 my time. So I'm going to go ahead and put a pin in the stream here for now. Thanks for watching, folks. I got a couple of little chores that I need to get to and take care of around the house, getting everything cleaned up for tabletop tomorrow. But we'll probably be back. I don't know if we'll be streaming more, but I'll probably be looking to hop on and fly and do the things. So as we wrap everything up here for this evening, or afternoon rather, and get situated once more, as always ask for consent. Communicate with your partners. Communication is key. Try and be decent people. Try and be good people as much as one can. And I hope you have an enjoyable rest of your Saturday. Thanks for watching, cohort. We'll catch you next time.